Welcome to Jourdan Matthew.
I'm Matthew Brooks.
And I'm Jourdan Jourdan.
And we're here with our guest, Mr. Brandon Atwell from the Murky Waters.
Hey, glad to be here, man. Glad y'all could come out to the compound.
Is that what we call this place?
It's the compound.
Dude, I like it.
An undisclosed location in Long Beach.
So for those of you who don't know, we just got through doing a little bit of tasting on this murky turkey. Brandon and the boys, they do these murky turkeys, now it's 2 times a year, I think you said, Christmas too?
Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Christmas and Thanksgiving.
So we do obviously more turkeys at Thanksgiving than we do at Christmas. We do ham by the...
Ooh, I bet a ham would be fire.
The hams are great. The hams they're you cut into them and it just, the juice explodes out of it.
Well, the turkey's fire too.
I ain't even had a piece yet. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Well, get some.
Slide over here and get me one.
God.
I gotta get some skin.
Get your murky turkey.
It's good. We should have, if we'd have had the fryer going.
Oh man.
We'll take them off the smoker.
Nah, yeah.
And then flash fry them, kind of like we do our chicken wings, and gives it the crispy skin and locks in the juice. But yeah, this is y'all are blessed to get a straight off the smoker.
Thank you for that.
We're
the only ones
you.
getting that. Yeah, thanks, Brandon.
And but the love that y'all put into making turkeys and y'all's meats. I mean, the barbecue, everything. I'm addicted to the quesadilla at Murky Waters.
Murky quesadilla.
She's like, the girl's always like, do you want it chicken or pork? And I'm like, this time let's just roll the dice.
I mean, the meats are obviously a majority of what we sell. We're in the meat business, We're in the protein business. So,
slinging that meat.
The sides. People love the sides. Go to a barbecue restaurant. You get mac and cheese, baked beans, potato salad. But the center part of it,
my favorite show's collard greens.
The collard greens are fired. I never actually ate collard greens before we opened up Murky Waters, and
I'm gonna have to try them because I tell you, I'm not a collard green guy, so I definitely want to try that.
Dude, they're money.
You'll get hooked. We basically we'll make a batch and we'll take probably 2 or 3 racks of ribs and cut the meat off the bones and stick the bones into the collard greens. They cook. The marrow cooks out of the bones. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We take a scoop of rub to season with it. So it's got
tastes sweet to it.
Is people are like, oh, collard greens, they think it's like a healthy option or whatever, and you're like, it's like slap full of sugar and salt and garlic, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's good for you. It's definitely on the sweeter and salty side.
That's that good old Southern cooking, though, man. That's anything down here.
Well, that's an extra step though. Because when I've had collard greens, they've just been collard greens that my grandma made, and
there's still dirt in them.
Yeah, and you just.
I guess most of you would season. Like a ham bone or usually it's some kind of pork bone. But like I said, we take the ribs, we take off the shoulder butts, we take the big bone, the blade bone from the pork butt, and that goes in and it cooks for probably about 3 or 4 hours and just simmers.
So you guys are the meat specialists. Tell us what all meats that you do specialize in. Clearly, turkey's kind of not really on the mainstream menu all the time, but.
What do you think we sell the most of? So we have brisket, we've got chicken, we've got pork.
It's got to be the chicken wings, right?
We sell.
Let me guess. I'm gonna go with. Let me go pork.
Pork's number 2. Pork's number 2, and you would think that's the barbecue staple when you go to a barbecue restaurant. You try the pork sandwich. That's the litmus test. All right, I'm gonna eat the pork sandwich. If it's good, then you venture off into the other different meats. Whatever. But we do sell a bunch of pork. We sell at Murky. I think last year it was somewhere around 50,000 pounds of meat along the 3 along.
Jeez,
that's just pork. But we sell times 3 what we sell in pork. We sell in chicken wings. I think the last time I actually did the count we basically can see our usage and how many pounds of wings that we buy. And last year along the 3 locations, it was somewhere like 60,000 pounds, which on a 6 to 9 count is.
And their wing night is pretty serious.
Oh man, you can't get.
Wing night's serious around there.
Yeah, but that's well over 1 million wings.
What?
Dude, that's ridiculous.
In a single year.
So you started buying stock and chicken is what you need to do.
Tyson is they love us. We buy a fresh, never frozen Tyson Cadillac of wings. It's well worth. We pay a little extra for it.
Well, you guys have built up a pretty solid reputation in the wing game. You got these. I know you haven't been doing wing night lately because of COVID. And is there any kind of timeline on getting that back on the train? Or
yeah, we're looking at it. Right now the prices, especially of wings, are high right now.
Dude, everything. You can't get anything shipped.
Wings for us, I mean, probably when we did wing night, when we first started wing night, it was, we did 50-cent wings. We packed out, and wing prices weren't, that ridiculous. And there was one year, I forget, it was probably about 2017, and I mean, they just spiked. I don't know, there was a huge increase in demand along with some kind of supply issue, but I mean, they went to the point where 50 cents, it's costing us 45 cents just to pull it out of the box. That doesn't include smoking it, paying somebody to smoke it for you, all your overhead and stuff like that. So we're like, that was when that year we went from 50 cents to a 65-cent wing night, and nobody really batted an eye. It was a few people who were upset that they paid 15 more cents for a wing, but
how many were them? How many?
Can't have everybody happy.
But we deal with people who don't like our prices all the time. So
inflation.
Yeah, you go to the grocery store. If what your grocery bill, what you were paying at Winn-Dixie was $100, and now you're spending $150. I know that translates to everybody across the board, including restaurants.
You let me know about a frozen bag of wings. I ain't doing that anymore.
No.
Yeah, no, if it's all fresh.
I don't care. I'll pay the extra price, but I don't do the frozen bag of wings. You do not invite me to your house for frozen bags of wings.
Especially like me. I mean, and people have this weird stigma of frozen. I mean, there are some, especially on fish where they have processing plants out there where they catch it and they immediately go to a boat and they process and they froze. You have
that's what
fresh
my family
frozen.
Did.
Whatever.
That's what my family did for years.
But
we know we're talking about like the wings that I'm talking about, right? Where you just have
the Tyson
you're talking about the ones that
pre-cooked.
They even have the flavor on them already.
Throw them in the oven for 13 minutes and
if you're trying to compare that to a Murky Waters wing right now.
No, I'm saying though, for me though, like I can't do the frozen wings, so I have to go out and get my wings. So I know like you get that love with them wings, and like I'll pay the extra. I mean, I'll pay the extra. Just wing night's wing night.
And you'll notice that you'll go to different restaurants now, and you'll see there's different qualities and different sizes of wings. We use what's called a large, but there's a wing bigger than that called a jumbo, and it looks like
steroid.
looks like my fist. It's a pterodactyl wing is what we call it. And then they have obviously medium, and then a small version. And you go out to eat and you can tell. You're like.
I mean, being in the business and then a connoisseur,
and
you look at stuff like that. The average Joe Schmo isn't. Me working in a restaurant as long as I did, I see that kind of stuff. I see a lot of, and it ruins it for me sometimes. Like working in restaurants because that's all I can think about. It's stuff like that.
We try to go out to eat and not just analyze everybody else's restaurant because you realize one, you understand if things go wrong, why they go wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
The waitress isn't coming around enough. That's because there's only 3 on the floor. There's 15 tables, or you can just tell the reasonings of why, and then you understand. You're not like, let me go. I need to talk to the manager, or I need to go put a Yelp review on, or something like that. So for us being in the business, it helps us understand when you go out to other places, if there's issues. But then again, if there is an issue and you know that there should be no reason for that, like
right,
why is
it does make you more well-rounded.
It does.
It's sharper. You're a master of your craft. There's no doubt, Jourdan. Listen to this guy talk, right?
Yeah. No, I'm like, well, I mean, I've been since I met you. Been going to the establishment a good bit in Gulfport, and most times I'm there having my Wellers because they have a great bourbon selection. I think
we are definitely whiskey connoisseurs.
Yeah. So like when you go to like Murky's, I'll go to Shandy. This is how I do my weekend. I'll hit Shandy. Me and John Carter will meet up and have a couple drinks or something at Shandy, and then it's like once my stomach goes, like, you know what? I'm going to Murky's, get my quesadilla and getting my whiskey.
Quesadilla time.
What do you eat? Pork, chicken?
No, I go whatever.
Pork?
It's a mystery. Like the girls at the bar, like, hey, whatever.
Just pick one for me.
Oh yeah, and like I said, great. Like that's what I love because you have this atmosphere in it. Anything when you talking barbecue or grilling out or cooking kind of restaurant, it's got this atmosphere. It's a blues bar. It's got that feel where you're like at home kind of. You're not like in this like franchised, restaurant where you're like, is it too fancy? It's not. No, you go there. It's like brick walls, like a lot of industrial look to it. The lighting outside, you can go out there and sit on the bag by Fishbone Alley and kick it. So if I'm having like an aggravating time, I'll grab me a beer sometimes and I'll just go sit on the back porch.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you said atmosphere because, people always, any restaurant, there's 10 of it different kind. We're here on the coast, we're in a seafood mecca where there's, every city has a place where you have the best po' boys, or it's seafood. It's all different variations, but why do you like this one over this other seafood? It's probably the same shrimp out of the same Gulf.
Same Gulf, yep. Call it the same boat, probably.
They use the same company to source their French bread and stuff like that. So what makes them different? And then for us at Murky, one, we not have a lot of competition, but we're in the restaurant business, and just a restaurant alone is hyper competitive. So how do we differentiate ourselves as a restaurant? And barbecue is usually, I wouldn't say it's like lower class, or it's you have casual dining and fine dining, and barbecue,
you're not wearing
barbecue typically is somewhere above a gas station. So how do we differentiate ourselves at Murky? And it's almost through the atmosphere. When you walk in there, we've made it to where, one, it's inviting. Like you walk in, and you can tell this place it's cool, or it's got good vibes, or however you want.
Yeah, no doubt. The music playing is what you look for, Keith. You guys kill that all the time.
We definitely put a lot of love in our food, and we're putting out a good product. But we're making sure that one, our employees are happy. You've got good employees. We're able to retain our employees for the most part. We don't see a lot of high turnover. So customers notice that. They like to be able to see the same waitress the last faces. Time they came in. So like I said, for us, even what is Mississippi barbecue, and it's the atmosphere. It is that. Coming in and people making deals, and I've seen people been proposed to at Murky, now, and it's like
that's
people
dope.
Like coming into Murky because of the atmosphere.
And I bring my customers there sometimes.
I mean, it's a place. It really has that feeling of. I mean, guys, you don't even have to be like with people. You can go by yourself. I lone wolf all the time. Especially if Emily's with Oliver, and I'll lone wolf. I'll go down, and you can go to Murky's and by yourself, and you'll probably meet a friend. Yeah. You have a good time. They've always been great. In the customer service, it's phenomenal, because that's what I like going. I like atmosphere, but also like customer service.
Dude, customer service makes or breaks the business.
I like when they can go, hey, you want to try this bourbon we got, this new bourbon we got, or make an engagement of a decision that I don't know every bourbon in there, but every time I do go to Murky's, it's, hey, we got more than just that.
Yeah, and with service, like you go to a restaurant, and if a place has bad service, then it better have great food.
Oh, you ain't lying.
And if you got great service, then a lot of the times you ain't got good food, and for us, it's, can we find a balance of great food and great medium. Service, and maybe the whole thing equals.
Well, I've never had a bad item at Murky Waters. My favorite, though, we were talking about the wings earlier. They're not my favorite. I think you know what it is, because I text you all the time, and I'm like, hey, where are them burn ends?
Burn ends.
So the burn ends, we've watched them go from just an item on the menu to the cover.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Holy Grail.
We probably don't even like to admit to the fact, like the first 2 years we'd cut up a little bit of them, throw them on our baked beans, and then we'd throw it away, or we would slice, when we would slice brisket, we would slice the whole brisket. We wouldn't even trim it, And then my brother's from Kansas City, and we went up to visit one time, and he was like, we got to go to, I think, like Arthur Bryant's, which is like a famous Kansas City barbecue spot.
Yeah.
And you walk in, and it's like a cafeteria style, and like the cook's back there like yelling at you, like in a joking way, or it's part of the thing. But yeah, and they had burn ends, and they're like, you want burn ends? I'm like, okay, yeah. And they just slap meat down. They go, and they take a piece of white bread and slap it on the white bread, and you get size or whatever, and then there you go. And so that was like, oh man, and I remember like looking at the price too, like $23 for burn ends. Like, really, we've been throwing that away, So we kind of developed, like, at the time we were getting just massive briskets, and we start researching it, because we're restaurant people. Murky Waters came from, I have a restaurant background, but I don't think a lot of us didn't really have barbecue experience.
Oh, yeah,
we loved to grill when we were at.
Drain your craft.
When we were in Oxford at Ole Miss, like we'd fire up the grill, hotty toddy, and smoke some pork butts and grill some steaks. But we were never never knew how to translate that into what it actually took to make a barbecue restaurant, which is completely what nobody understands. Or like,
you nerd out.
Yeah, and
you have to be. You're master at your craft. Me and Jourdan do the same thing. We've been trying to do this cartoon. Oh, and I feel like
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's happening.
But man, I feel like a little kid trying to learn math sometimes, and I'm sitting there, I'm just like, nah. But that's what it takes for you to get good at it.
And for us, we get a lot of people who are customers, and it's kind of like a steak restaurant where what's the best steak, and it's like steak that I cook, And so barbecue people are already real prideful, and they, well, I cook brisket and I'm a championship, barbecue master, this and that, and that's fine. You probably are, and it's probably really good. But can you feed 10,000 people a week or a month or whatever?
And sustain it.
For us, it's we do that. We have to keep up the quality. We have to put out a premium product, and then we have to do it on a scale that it's not feeding your house. It's feeding
the masses.
I mean, we feed on a Friday night. Each restaurant does 300 or 400 people. That's times 3, so we're feeding 1,500 people a day. And we're open 7 days a week. How can we keep that consistency?
365 days a year.
Yeah, and making sure that every person gets a premium quality.
I'd say you guys are doing a pretty damn good job at it.
We do, and obviously with every restaurant you'll get complaints, but as long as we can keep it to a minimum, you're gonna have outlying events or whatever.
I mean, if the food tastes like this, it's gonna be complaints
we'll get them and like like, well, what are you
sorry
gonna do about
you
it?
don't like this.
Like, sorry, that's not part of the system. Like, it's not supposed to be like
and
that. It's just there probably was a fluke, and
like you said, like you can everybody can win all these tournaments and you can have that do the barbecue, but can you be consistent with the barbecue?
Oh,
that's where Murky Waters is going. Yeah, we can.
I promise you, if all we had to cook was 1 or 2 briskets a day, it would be the best
like
2 briskets you ever ate.
So and that's important though, consistency, because I will tell you, it's always been consistent. Because I'll have opinions about it, but it's like I'm hooked on that when I get like that quesadilla, and it's just. It's consistent. Every time I have it, it's hot, it's juicy, it's got flavor. I'm not real big in the dry barbecue, guys. I don't really like when the meat's dry, and that's something that Murky Waters doesn't do, and I enjoy it.
It's the way we present it. It's supposed to the sauce is on the side. It usually comes out of real moist meat. You shouldn't especially the ribs.
And you got a couple of different flavors too.
We do a sweet Carolina vinegar style. And then we do what's like a spicy sauce, and we actually smoke whole jalapenos on the smoker, puree them up, and then mix them into the spicy sauce. I mean, you get a spice, but you get like
my mouth's watering right now.
A smoky spice.
So let's talk about growth. I know you got some things on the horizon.
Yeah, we're always making moves,
So what is it? Bay St. Louis, right? Bay St. Louis.
So the next project is Bay St. Louis. We had
for all you Bay St. Louis residents out there.
Hey, Brandon, can we can I get a beer real quick?
Yeah, Brandon, I want a beer too.
I got Miller Lite.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna whatever. I take whatever.
You gonna open them for us?
Thank you.
But yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Brandon, they've been in business now for what has it been? How many years? It's flying by, isn't it?
I guess now it would be 8, 7. So I guess.
And we've had slow growth. So we started Gulfport.
Oh, and we had slow growth because we were constricted. When we opened up Murky, me and my other 2 partners, Frankie and Thomas, me and Frankie had gone to Ole Miss, and we graduated in May of 2012. I think in June of 2012, I had set up the LLC for Murky Waters, and by November we had signed the lease to the Gulfport location, and by April we were open. So I mean, less than like 11 months after I graduated college.
So we're rounding on a decade. Since then, we've got the addition of Ocean Springs. We've got the addition of Hattiesburg. The acquisition of your own holding company.
Hey Matt, pull this as an angle. Yeah, guys, this is our new setup. Yeah, there. So you can pull the mic back just a little bit to you.
Okay. All right. So anyway, and now we're moving into Bay St. Louis for the 4th location, the 4th installment.
Yes.
Where's that at? Tell everybody.
So Bay St. Louis is a market that we've been trying to get to. I think we probably would have been in Bay St. Louis before we were even in Hattiesburg. But if you're familiar with the Bay St. Louis real estate market or whatever, but it's pricey, and it's and for us numbers are key in terms of the rent expense and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
The cost of
you're very analytical.
Yeah, we're numbers people, and so Bay St. Louis it never worked. The rent was always too high. The population wasn't there. It's a tough market. But what we've seen just in the last 3 years is just a huge influx of
everybody from New Orleans,
money of Louisiana. We got people coming from New Orleans.
It's like Diamond Head. Everybody's like, no, we're doing Bay St. Louis.
They all have like second houses or rental houses, and then they come over to Bay St. Louis, and they're like, man, this is like this is basically like New Orleans, but a little bit more
Cleaner.
even more, cleaner and more relaxed.
What is it? Before we get into the detail of that, it's the something Saturday.
I think it'd be like a second Saturday where all the boutiques would.
Have you been to that, Matt?
I haven't.
Serve wine.
We're gonna go.
Okay.
Because it's like that's where it comes in. Like you can see Murky Waters getting in there because it's like second Saturday is like
Street walking day.
It's a Peter Anderson once a month. And it's a lot of love.
In Bay St. Louis, I mean, it's. I always tell people Bay St. Louis is very similar to Ocean Springs, except for everybody's an LSU fan in Bay St. Louis.
Everybody.
It's got that same vibe. There's boutiques. It's got a perfect of mixed retail restaurants. There's professional law offices and stuff like that. It's got that same vibe that Ocean Springs does, but with kind of like a Cajun flair.
They kind of shut her down. Like you go and it's like that Saturday's going, so it's like they're gonna have a live band. Like Murky's gonna have a live band. You're gonna go there and you're gonna watch a live band get down. But
let us know when it is. I'm down to go make the trek.
You walk on. You don't even have to be second Saturday. You go any Saturday, and people are driving golf carts around and walking the streets. And
I got some of that. I told you the other day. Whenever I was down there, my girlfriend, her family's from over that way, and whenever we went, I rode by and looked at y'all's building, and I was just like, man, this is like a whole untapped something to do. Like being from Ocean Springs, Biloxi area, it is similar to Ocean Springs downtown.
And even at its current state, it's still got a huge growth potential. It's Bay St. Louis is blessed. Their downtown area. It's not in Ocean Springs you just have Washington and then you have Government Street.
Yeah.
You've got basically two streets where the development can happen. In Bay St. Louis, you've got a 4-block by 3-block grid of commercial space, so there's just more room to spread out.
It's kind of like one of them Hallmark movies, guys. It kind of reminds me of a Hallmark movie with the downtown areas where everybody's hanging out and they're just wearing scarves.
And then insert Murky Waters.
There we go, Murky Waters right there. And you know what I'm talking. You know what I'm talking
people
about.
Walking around is going to be.
Bay St. Louis is like a Hallmark movie.
It's cool, It's and it's
you throw a little barbecue smell in the air, and people are going to come.
I went there and realized Bay St. Louis was hopping. Mockingbird.
Yeah.
They had this like live bluegrass band sitting there playing like out of Nashville, and they won some CMT awards. And I didn't know who they were. I just rolled up and watched this bluegrass band. I mean, it's like probably eight man band, and it was just a great time. It was like in a gravel parking lot.
Yeah.
There's people standing around. It's like, and these people are getting down with bluegrass, and just hopped over, and everything's like he said, everything's for sale. Like they're always popping up shops. So there's like. You can get like these really cool craft things, and
it's cool. It's a blessed side. It's got the harbor built.
Yeah,
in.
beautiful.
We've got a day pier. You can pull in. I've done it a few times on our boat, and we'll launch out of Long Beach, and we'll go fish a little bit to Cat Island, and then you pull up, go over to Bay St. Louis, pop on the bay pier on the day pier, tie up, go walk into the Blind Tiger,
have a couple drinks,
drink some margaritas,
and then y'all are gonna be right across the street, pretty much, right?
I mean, yeah, we got. So it's the. It used to be called Lulu's. Was the existing restaurant that we took over, and she was ready to retire and move on to that, and so she sold us. We were lucky to buy the building, got the whole real estate, and I mean it's, if you're familiar, there's like a city parking lot that L's around Cuz's, it's Hancock Bank right there, and it's the building that borders the whole north side. We're literally 3 units off the beach.
So what's our timeline? When are we going to open the doors?
We're working
when
hard.
are these fans going to be able to come get some Murky Waters?
We're lucky it was an existing restaurant, so there's not a lot of major infrastructural things. It's got a hood vent, it's got the plumbing, it's got electrical. All we've done is just gutted all the walls that she had in there before, and we're going to make it look like a Murky Waters. All brand new bar, brand new floors. Working on
I can't believe you haven't done that Saturday though.
I mean, man, I barely do anything.
Dude, you're gonna be
Saturdays.
like blown away with this atmosphere there. It's a little hidden gem.
Well, we can take this time to plug the Ugly Pirate too, which is right.
Yes,
right.
that is my girlfriend Kelsey Moran. She recently purchased the bar, the Ugly Pirate. It's probably the best dive bar in Bay St. Louis. It's probably the size of the whole bar is probably half the size of this room, which is just a little bit more than the pool table that you can see right here. And it's got a huge outdoor spot.
So what's that one bar across from Murky's in Ocean Springs? Similar to that? What is that?
The Field.
The Field?
It's
Similar?
I would say it's probably half the size of that bar. I mean, there's probably 8 bar stools and 3 tables.
Got some good to-go
It's all
drinks?
decorated in pirate memorabilia. And
Y'all do pizzas and
pizza and beer. It's easy.
Is it y'all do like growlers or?
We got growlers. There's live music on Saturdays. We do trivia on Thursdays. It's cool, Bay St. Louis.
So Bay St. Louis is popping.
I know. I'm like, let's go now.
It's popping.
You want to?
I mean, I don't.
No, well, guys, if y'all looking for some great barbecue, Come check out Brandon and the boys down in Murky Waters. 3 locations, about to be 4 locations. Brandon, we appreciate you tuning in with us.
Yeah, thank y'all for having me.
And we'll have you back on the show, man. No doubt.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, cheers.
Hey,
Cheers.
Oh.
let's go to the Ugly Pirate. Let's go.
All right.
Nobody's holding us back.
Hey, go get y'all some Murky turkeys.